How's that? Good, stable, good, great, grand, wonderful. Well, good morning. I'm gonna use this shelf. I like this. So, most of y'all noticed we didn't do this last week, and actually, I got a lot of people hitting me up about that. I'm kind of flattered, to be honest. A lot of people were bummed that it wasn't going on, but I was, yeah, you win. I was out of town last weekend, and I wasn't comfortable focusing my efforts on that for the weekend because I was out of town at a wedding. If any of you guys know who Andy Grossman is, um, he selectively breeds some nice wild type ball pythons as well as some really awesome morphs, Antaresia childreni, and he has some carpets and a few other things. So he got married, and it was a really great time. So was out there, and so yeah, didn't do this last week, um, but here we are, picking it back up. Um, which is interesting because I'm awkward, as you can see. But like a lot of people were really interested in this, and so I thought we'll just keep it going. Um, but um, it is it is getting to the breeding season, so I was thinking we would go that direction. There was a couple things that I wanted to get out of the way. Yeah, where was last weekend? Oh yeah, okay. Couple things that I wanted to get out of the way. If any of y'all have been paying attention, I've been posting stuff about shirts. I've got a sample, like a prototype of shirt coming in this week, and if I like that, then I'm gonna set up a way for you guys to order shirts because I've had like 50 people hit me up for shirts. So um, they're gonna be like a big full print with the snake head logo and Riley's reptiles on there, and that'll just be the first run, and we'll see how that goes. And then I've got some stickers coming too. Who doesn't love a good old sticker? So if you buy a shirt, I'm gonna try and, if possible, include that in there. Um, hey, good morning, Lori. You get Wi-Fi out there at the ranch? That's awesome. Um, so yeah, shirts and stickers are coming. Um, oh, that's the other thing. The second run of my black glass photography prints were released on the first of the month, so I rotated out the five photos. So what was there before available to order is no more. So if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see a post about it. If you go to my website at rileysreptiles.weebly.com, you'll see, you click the little hamburger menu icon to navigate, and you'll see animal prints as a drop down, and it'll take you right there. Um, and yeah, you can just, it's real simple, real easy. But basically, there's five photos you can choose from, and I'm gonna swap those out every so often. Right now, I think there's a Crebo, a Madagascar hognose, a king snake, and a couple carpets, I think. Um, yeah, so some pretty cool photos that you can order. I had to um, bring the price up a little bit because the cost was a little bit higher. So um, trying to keep them affordable for you guys and not lose money on getting you guys some cool prints. So they're up there. I've got a couple of them. I need to order some more for myself too, because who doesn't like their own stuff? I guess I don't know. Is that? I guess that's probably a little bit conceited, but oh well. I like my photos. Um, okay, and I think that was everything that I. Yeah, the black glass photos. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Ryan. The next round is up for sale. I haven't figured out when I'll swap them out for another round, but you can assume they'll be up for at least a month or two. Um, yeah, so those are up there. Those would be cool for Christmas, y'all. Um, but anyway, we've got the breeding season here. It's already like, what's today? The 7th. We're already closing off the first week of October. So if any of you guys are out there breeding carpet pythons this year, you know this is crunch time. Like, you should have been planning months ago for this. You should already be several steps into your pregame and prepping process. So if anybody is curious, what I'll do is I'll sort of just go through my step-by-step breeding process for carpet pythons, and then if any of y'all have questions, you can chime in. But basically, starting in July is when I'm planning pairings on who's going to who, figuring that out, and then seeing who's going to be up to size and ready and mature if there's any questions. And then also have backup plans. So I have plan B pairings and stuff. Nothing is random. And then that's when I start really throwing a lot more food to the adults just to get fat reserves on females. So females that are normally eating every 3-4 weeks are going to eat every 2 weeks. And then getting into this month right now, they're probably going to eat every 7 to 10 days because they're just burning through rodents really fast. It's really nice for me this year because I get seasons in Sacramento. In Santa Barbara, it was warm year round, so there weren't a lot of winter type cues for the animals to pick up on. I had to change the heat and the lighting and the feeding schedule, which did a little bit, but I was really fighting the elements. Here, it's already getting cold. So they're definitely showing behavioral changes. They're heat seeking a lot. They're pacing a lot for food. So it's getting to that time, and basically up until Halloween, that's kind of the cutoff. That's when all the adult breeders are done eating, and then for the next 3-4 weeks, no food for them. Let them digest everything because you don't want a bunch of food in their stomach going into those cooler seasons where it's not going to be very hot, and they're not going to have as much access to a hot spot. You don't want that in there. And then right around Thanksgiving is when I'm going to start gradually dropping temperatures, like a couple degrees every week or so. And I'm going to take their hot spots down from like 87. Whoa. Take their hot spots down from 87 to like 70-ish. So at night, their basking areas are going to go down to 70. And during the day, they'll come back up for a few hours. That's the important part. You got to remember they need to warm back up a little bit during the day. But instead of having like a 12-hour huge basking spot of the normal 86, 87, it's going to be more like 8 hours at like 82, 83. So they'll still warm up a little bit, but I'm not feeding them. All these factors, the cycle feeding, the change in the temperatures, they're going to pick up on pressure because in Sacramento we're going to get rain and stuff. So yeah, the exception, this is what I'm doing for my spring breeders, or excuse me, my winter breeders, Ryan. I haven't bred diamonds or bredli. The exception with those guys is timing. When you pair, they're going to breed in the spring, so you can do the same stuff. You're just going to introduce animals later. But they also need to go much colder. Breadline diamonds need to get down into like the 50s. These coastals, jungles, Darwins, Popwins, they don't need anywhere near a drop like that. And in fact, Darwins, you could get away with like dropping them half is what I'm talking about here. So right around, mid-December is when their temperature is going to be at the lowest, and that's when I'm sort of going to complete that downward ramping cycle into those winter temps, as we'll call them. And then they're going to sit at that for 2 months, and then February 1st is when I start ramping that back up. And so by the time the third week of February comes around, their temperatures are more or less back up what the normal what's up, Richard, the normal year temps are. And at that point, I'm already going to have an idea of what these females are doing, what they're looking like. I might offer them a small meal just to gauge where their interest is, and then I'll already have been pairing. I'm not really going to expect males to be hungry because males are usually too focused on females at that time, and I really don't want to feed females anyway. Theoretically, they should be pretty well fed before then, so they don't need it. But that's where you have to come into play and just like watch your animals. So we'll see. So that's kind of the gist of it, and then you just kind of roll with what happens. You pay attention to your females' pre-ovulation and swelling, Don't pull your males out too soon. You can get faked out. I've been faked out plenty of times. What's up, Dan? I've been faked out and pulled males out soon, thinking that females' ovulatory swelling was what I was seeing, and it was actually like just follicular development. And then she started looking like she was thin again, and that was it. And it's because I pulled the male too soon. So pay attention to that. And yeah, typically this is where like all your observations and knowing your animals will really help out. But there is sort of like a formula, so to speak. Um, so that's kind of like the mechanics of it, I suppose. But if anybody has questions on like, because with carpet pythons, it's not just breed animal A to animal B and get the combination of A B. I'll make an analogy here. Ball pythons, they're just ball pythons with lots of different morphs, so it's just paying attention to the combinations, what's lethal, what isn't, and then what that results in, and if that's desirable or not. With carpet pythons, there's the added layer of subspecies and full species, so you can't just throw a genetic striped breadlie to a popwing carpet and be like, everyone's going to want these, because that's a hybrid that, unless you have long game projects that you can show are spectacular, that you can drive some hype for, that just doesn't really make sense. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to know these animals. There's an added layer of, they're not just one species. There's several species and subspecies, and that is where making sensible projects comes into play, because it has to make sense. Otherwise, you're just going to create animals that are not going to have the desired effect on what you expect them to look like, and there's not a market for them. So you're going to sit on an entire clutch for potentially ever. So you just got to make sense of what these animals are, and don't flood the market with stuff that nobody wants, because why? All right, let's pull out a snake. I'm gonna see if this girl wants to play. I got this girl from Evan Browder. She came into the States via Chris Behoff, produced by Don Patterson. This is a zebra jungle, and she wasn't very nice for a long time. She's since become manageable, we'll say. She's not all that trustworthy, but she did just shed yesterday. So she's looking pretty nice. She caught a little touch of like RI when we moved, so I'm glad to see that she's doing really well. She seems to be putting weight on, so we'll see if she wants to breed this year. Hey, honey. So far, so good. She's a little uneasy being handled. This was not something she ever allowed for the first long time when she came. So I kind of got her in, learned that, and just let her be. And we developed an understanding, and then started working on it. And she's definitely lit me up a few times. For the longest time, her nickname was Palm Biter, and I don't think I need to explain that. I definitely wouldn't say I trust her around my face. She's just not predictable. She's not aggressive or anything. She just, like right now, she's got a bit of a death grip on me, but that's because she's awkward. She's just really kind of an interesting snake. She twitches though, like when she touches like arm hair, she spooks herself. But a lot of people will tell you jungles are irascible and mean, and zebras in particular. So that's definitely part of it, but it's kind of the exception rather than the norm. Did you see that? She just spooked herself there. So she's just not used to this. If we did this more, this probably wouldn't be such like a high energy. I wouldn't even call it stress per se. She's a little tense, but otherwise, you know, she's all right. But my point in bringing this girl out is I'm hoping to if she cycles and gives me the signs that she wants to breed, she'll be paired to a zebra male that I have, and so for those of you who aren't familiar with zebra morphs in jungles, it's an incomplete dominant trait, and there's the heterozygous form, which is the single mutation, the zebra, and then there's the homozygous form, which is a super, which is a patternless animal. So when you pair two zebras together, your odds are essentially you could cover the spread. You can get normal jungles, you can get zebras, and you can get super zebras. I think you'd get about 50% zebras, 25% normals, 25% supers is how that breaks down. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's just simple Mendelian genetics. Do I cool the whole room when I get ready to breed? So that's a good question, Dan. I let the room do what it does. There are two windows here. I've got one over there that doesn't face the sun, and I've got one that faces afternoon sun. It's gonna get cold whether I want it to or not. Now I could run a space heater if I feel like the ambient gets too low. But when I moved in here in February, it wasn't bad. I might go pick up a space heater just to keep an ambient at like 70 or so. But I have some colubrids in here that enjoy the cold, so I'm not really worried about it. So inevitably, because the weather outside gets cold, the room gets a little bit cold. Everything has some sort of supplemental heat to it to make sure I don't ever get like too cold, so nothing dangerous. And that sort of allows a minimum ambient as well. So yeah, coffee's life, Jay's balls. Good morning. So yeah, like inevitably everybody gets a little bit of the cold. The babies experience some of it. The thing I don't do is I don't really tinker with the hot spot temperatures on the baby racks. I leave those more or less consistent. What I will do is feed them less to sort of replicate a scarcity of prey. Because as adults, I want some consistency and cues this time of year. I want animals to know that this time of year it's colder, there's less food. You know, some of those are kind of like the baseline things that I want. And then for adults, it'll be even more. It'll be like temperature cycling, and you know, the ambient light will be different as well by virtue of how things go. So I also just pay attention to what they want, and you know, cross my fingers. So. But if you can breed a ball python, you can breed a carpet python. It's just you gotta pay attention a little bit more to what you're breeding, I suppose. So we've got the zebra. We've got the zebra to zebra pairing. This girl right here. That's my big lovely jungle girl. She's a proven breeder. I'm going to be pairing her with a striped male who has some ivory blood in her. What up? Palmetto Coast Exotics. Who are you? Good morning, guys. So I'll be making some striped jungles that'll have some Australian addiction blood, ivory stuff, as well as Vandeventer, which is where that striping comes in on the male. I would pull more of these guys out today, but I've thawed a bunch of rats in here last night. Again, it's feeding weekend, that's how it goes. So I'm sort of playing it safe. I'd rather not show you people getting bit. And then, so that's the like straight jungle stuff. I'm gonna be pairing my like one of my favorite animals in here. This really gorgeous tiger male, produced by Todd Dyer at Psychotic Exotics, from some Balin Tiger line stuff that's got like I think 3 or 4 generations of tiger in there, so he's like exceptionally striped. So we'll throw him to a caramel and see if we can't, land some like decently caramely stripes, because these two genes seem to work against each other. We're gonna pair. I think one of the previous episodes I pulled out the albino Darwin. She's getting paired to the het male, so we'll see if we can make some albino Darwins. And then my most exciting project is the Xanthic stuff. So if any of you know about that, that's kind of, I guess, relatively new out here, but within the last few years I went heavy and got into it. And so this year I'm going to try an Xanthic coastal female to my Xanthic zebra, if she's up to the task. She's young, but she's big, and she's got that big mature head. Xanthics are coming down in price a little bit, but you can expect, still pay like $400 or $500 for visuals and up. But hats are still really pretty because they seem to show a little bit of that color. So there's an affordable way to get into it that way. So I've got the Xanthic zebra to an Xanthic coastal. So everything that will come out of that will be either just a normal Xanthic or an Xanthic zebra. And then my good friends at Designer Exotics, April and Terrell, have graciously loaned me their female super zebra het Xanthic, who will also meet my Xanthic zebra. So everything that will come out of that will be zebras and super zebras, and everything will either be het Xanthic or Xanthic. So that one's really sweet. That one's going to be like, I'm excited for that one. That one's going to be rad. Probably going to do that pairing several times. So we'll see. But who knows? Could get skunked this year on everything. But that's 6 pairs of carpet pythons going this year. So if anybody's looking to get into carpets next year, keep me in mind. I should have some variety. I'm out here at Sacramento, so if you're local, we can get you. But you guys should just get carpet pythons anyway. And then children's pythons going, and I've got some Amazon tree boas that are in quarantine that might clear just in time to breed. So we'll see if we can get some of those going too. But anyway, this has been running a little while. Does anybody have any questions? I've just been babbling way too much. Way too much. Yeah, you're looking at that jungle stuff. In a couple years, be doing some Xanthic tigers too. I've got a trio of tiger het Xanthics, so everybody's ready for it. There we go. Ed, what's up, buddy? You need a couple, man. You would do well with them. You would do very well with them. You know your snakes. You know what you're doing. Yeah, they're fun. I can't get enough of them. Tigers with really really straight lines. I would pull out the normal tiger that's gonna breed for you guys or for me this year to show you like what I'm expecting, but he would eat me alive. Like he really just like that's what he does. He likes to hurt me. He likes to hurt everyone. He knows it's not food. He's just like that, so I'm not gonna pull him out. But I do have some tigers that are handleable that I can pull out. They're just my het Xanthics that'll be pairing future. So So, tiger, this is not like, this is good striping. All the way down the back. There's some broken portions there, but you got some lateral striping. The way tiger works is because it's polygenic. The more tiger you put into breedings, the better the resulting stripes come out. So this guy will go to another tiger het Xanthic. we'll keep adding tiger in and tiger in and tiger in, and that's how that project is going to go for me. And in theory, these stripes should get better. They should stay connected. There should be fewer breaks, and then we'll have obviously the added bonus of the axanthic stuff at play. So, this guy could potentially breed this year, but he's pretty young. So I think next year he might get a crack, and then the two females are growing up for a while. Yeah, the top and sides are striped with tigers. Tigers are my favorite. Can never have enough. Tiger, tiger, tiger. It's the way to do it. All right, y'all. So I gotta go make sure my fantasy team is in order for football this weekend. I think it is. And then I gotta get these critters fed in here. And I guess one more thing. I started doing this because I was in class doing some school again, and didn't have time to put together nice, well thought out and edited videos. But I just finished class. I just got my certificate. I'm literally putting the final touches on my final presentation to send out, and I'm done. So for now, I don't know if you guys want me to keep doing this or what. It is easy, but if I come up with content, I'd love to put something together and get back to making nice edited videos should I theoretically have the time. Thank you, Jay. And no, I'm not making it to Tim Lee Ryan. I was about to, and then I just can't swing it, man. I don't produce enough animals to generate that level of income. I just don't have that level of income, period. Even with my full-time job right now, it's a slow season and it's going to get slower. So unfortunately, this year I was really thinking I could make it, and I just couldn't pull it off with everything. So y'all have a good time out there without me. But anyway, yeah. So I guess I'll just keep doing this, and if I can put out a video here and there that's more produced, I guess, until something changes. But I'll keep you guys posted. So stay tuned for shirts and stickers. Feely, what's up? This guy's how I personally decide. Okay. Ed, weekends work for me. Lori for feeding. I feed I feed a good food item each week for the first year. So okay, for babies, I like to start them out on fuzzies or hoppers, depending on how big they are, and then they'll go up to adult mice once hoppers are not leaving a lump, and that's usually around the 6 to 8 month mark. By then, they're usually in 15-quart tubs and not in the 6 quarts. And then that's why I don't have kids, man. I don't have that energy. Good on you. Once they're eating adult mice is when I start transitioning to rat pups. It's a little bit fatter. I don't like feeding rat pinkies. It's not enough substance, and I prefer the calcium in a hopper. And it's less messy. Rat pinkies just rip and burst, and they're just kind of stinky. So then once they're eating rat pups and they're in 15 quarts, it's usually around the like 8 to year old mark, depending on how well they're doing. And for an example, this guy is a little over a year old, and he's eating weaned rats. So once pups really aren't enough, I'll put them on weaned rats, and by then they're usually in 32-quart tubs. And then for about 6 months, they'll be in those 32-quart tubs, making the transition to small rats. And then depending if they're males and females will dictate how much I push them. I don't like to feed males very, very heavily, so males will oftentimes finish off their growth with me where a small rat is perfect. And they'll either be between a 32-quart and a 41-quart tub. And that's usually around the 2.5-year mark. I'll give them medium rats just to like switch it up from time to time, because small rats are kind of too small and I don't want to feed weekly. Once I get an animal onto like small or medium rats, I don't want them eating weekly. I feed them more like every 2 to 3 weeks at that point. When they're growing in their first year and a half or so, 2 years. Weekly to me is okay, but then after that I spread it out. So that's kind of the gist of that. And then every animal is different, of course. As far as t-shirts go, I saw that comment. Dude, I hate paying a bunch of money for t-shirts. So my goal is to try and keep the t-shirts around $20. What I'm trying to figure out is if I should have them all sent to me and then I'll distribute them, or if I should just set up an ordering page online for you guys and then you just pay an extra $5 right there. So I'm gonna figure that out. Am I gonna be on Cusco's on Tuesday? What, his live stream? I don't know. I usually miss those. I'm pretty bad with that. You're welcome. Yeah, I usually miss Brian's Tuesdays. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here because I've been on here for like half an hour and I got some feeding to do. But for everybody who joined in, just even tuned in and said, "Look at that dude's bald head," thumbs up, and took off, or everybody that gave me a thumbs up because you actually thought this was good, I appreciate it. I'll probably do custom ink, John. So far it's been great and they've been easy, and I've got a sample coming in, so we'll see. So stickers and t-shirts coming soon, so hang tight for those. But if you guys have anything carpet python related, John, I know you just got a carpet, so write down questions over the next week, and on Sunday next week we'll try and get to anything like that. If you guys want me to elaborate more on the breeding stuff that I talked about, you can message me too, for sure. Or save it for next week. Content's always good. But yeah, next week we'll try and do the same thing, more or less same time in the morning. I don't know. I'm just winging it, y'all. I'm not a professional. What you guys don't see is this is just the extra bedroom. I don't have a big facility. Take care, Ed. Come hang out soon. But yeah, I figured there's not a lot of carpet python stuff on YouTube, so I figure I can help. Anyway, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Take care. Ugh.